Hello, Tam the TMBOTC channel. We'll have me playing Skyrim. I'm mostly just trying to explore locations I have not yet gotten to yet in the game. I said yet twice. What is wrong with me? But I did want to talk this video, besides it being me exploring around the map of Skyrim, trying to find every little nook and cranny that I can with like different locations I haven't discovered yet, even though I've done this a couple other times. But let me start off with when I think of I called it almost because I don't know what Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be. I don't know how that is. But I have seen Bethesda being like, how are we going to, what are we going to do after the failure of Starfield? What are they're like just running around like headless chickens, sort of. So
Oblivion's better.
God damn it! I just started this video too. I had a feeling you were gonna join. You could join if you want. But here's this. I'll talk about quickly. You can join in too. I know you haven't played much Skyrim, but I want to do the Skyrim together stuff. But one thing I think of when I think of Bethesda games is they're the best at making their dungeons. And I just went through a really cool dungeon earlier. It was pretty long. Uh, they're good at their dungeons. What the hell?
Yeah?
Who are you?
What do you want, Lizard? I'm Anska.
Okay.
Here to help?
Speaking of interesting dungeons, who the hell? But yeah, they were known for their dungeons, their atmosphere, and exploration, and they're good at having like great treasure
I've finally
with their
located the broken script. The scroll I'm looking for just
with
has
like
to
a
be
great
here.
reward system at
Maybe
the
you can
end of
help
like
find it.
dungeons and
I just
stuff.
know it's in here.
They with Skyrim, I feel like this is like here's the thing. First off, Starfield. Starfield feels like a game that they tried to focus on what people wanted the strengths of with like Fallout New Vegas, for example. It's like dialogue and stuff. They put more of the strengths there. They forgot what they were good at during stuff like that and the other things they were implementing, such as their dungeons. Their dungeons, honestly, in Starfield, in my opinion, suck. Exploration kind of sucks. To a lot of people, it really sucks because it's freaking boring. And then there's just like they do a good amount of attention to detail with their lore. I think Skyrim is at its best with the attention to detail and everything they were able to do. You can tell that this is where they were growing. They were really growing their budget here with the game they made to the biggest. And there's a reason they re-released it so many times. It really is like their magnum opus. This feels like a Bethesda game that doesn't feel truly like a Bethesda game because of how much detail is put into it. If you watch like Camelworks videos alone on the lore of Skyrim, and he has like freaking hours long videos. There's literally like a 2-3 hour long video just on the Augur of Dulain, which is used to be a person that was also part Hagraven, the son of a Hagraven,
Great. With the two of us,
and
this should be easy.
they somehow became one with magic, and but they can see into the future, and they play a part into the Mages Guild, and it's like one of the most mysterious characters in the lore of Elder Scrolls, other than the disappearance of the dwarves. And there's just so much cool lore. Skyrim really is like Dark Souls. It ironically came around the same time with a lot of great lore. Ironically, both games about souls. Your main character in Dark Souls is collecting souls, and your main character in Skyrim is collecting dragon souls to become more powerful. And it's a journey about the Dragonborn learning who he is meant to be in the destiny and prophecy of the game that's set out before him, the world. it feels truly like an epic, like Lord of the Rings. Other than the only other game I can think of like that is Ocarina of Time. Zelda Ocarina of Time is the only other game I think of that gets close to being like a Lord of the Rings of gaming. Because it's this really epic journey that the character takes. And each game also, like I've said to Dave here, each game, if he's still here, each game has a soundtrack that tells you exactly what you're getting into. Morrowind is very fantastical and mysterious and alien. It's majestic in a way. And then you got Skyrim's big, booming, cinematic, and epic. It tells you exactly what you're getting into. And then Oblivion's just kind of generic medieval fantasy. I know people love that soundtrack and stuff and the setting of Oblivion. I still do really like Oblivion. I just think, in my opinion, it is the weaker of the three games. I prefer Nordic mythology and such too, so it is kind of a preference thing. And there's not many games that have the open world Nordic approach that something like Skyrim does. The only other game I can think of like that is Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Are you really gonna choose that over Skyrim? No. Unless you're a die-hard Assassin's Creed fan. I even think die-hard Assassin's Creed fans like Luke Stevens would be like, nah. Nah, there's too many problems with that game. I also disagree with Luke Stevens saying that Elder Scrolls is generic. Oblivion, I guess, kind of approaches that. Like, if you look at... Here's the other thing. I love the designs of stuff. Like, look at the design of, frickin' the armor sets in this game. They're so frickin' cool. Look at Daedric armor. The Daedric armor, as well as a lot of things, there is stuff that is replicating Lord of the Rings in goddamn Skyrim as well. But, like, Riften is obviously trying to be the frickin' Rohan or whatever from Lord of the Rings. But with stuff in Oblivion, it takes it to a whole new level of, like, copying stuff from other works of fiction. Like, the Imperial City is literally just frickin' White Isengard. And then you got frickin' you got the Daedric armor. Looks like it's just straight up Sauron's armor, where they actually made the armor look really unique and twisted. The Daedric armor in frickin' Skyrim. I love the design, the redesign. It's also where the art style's at its best, in my opinion. It's where the characters aren't super ugly, and the characters that are meant to be ugly are supposed to be ugly, like hag ravens and little old ladies, just because they're more wrinkly than other people, you know, because they're older. What else can I say? But yeah, it's where I can truly look at the game, because I've always had a hard time with Oblivion and Fallout 3 and New Vegas, because the character models, especially like ghouls in those, and I know they're ghouls, that is the point, but god, they freaking are hard to look at. There's great atmosphere in this game. Yeah. There's great atmosphere in this game. Once again, it feels like they put a lot into the dungeons. There are times where they reuse little things here and there. And of course, there's traps. I almost fell into one there, and I saw it coming. There's just a lot more detail going on in this, and dungeons are more interesting. There's cooler lore. There's actually, like, stories attached to some of these dungeons and quests, kind of like the one I'm doing with this lady. I was not expecting to stumble into her, by the way. I was not freaking,
Well, fancy seeing you here, ma'am.
That was not pre-planned, though. And
well,
the puzzles,
fancy seeing you here, ma'am.
since we're in a puzzle right now, the puzzles range from being okay, they're nothing special. There's definitely earlier puzzles, but I think that is the point. To, like, there are puzzles that are actually genuinely good in this game, too. I ran into one earlier where you had to read a book, and it told you what you had. It was still using these same pattern things, but it did it in a more clever way. Let's see, we got eagle, whale, think that's like a fox and then a snake. Okay, so eagle whale. That's the fox. Hold the video while I do this. This is kind of an exploring video too, but I did want to talk about this sometime. This was something that was on my mind for the longest time. But Bethesda just made such a huge and giant game, and I know there's people who say as huge as an ocean, but as shallow as a puddle. I don't entirely agree with that. I think there's still a lot of stuff.
I watched a video
put into
about
this
someone
game.
who used to think that, like exploring different features with it and then disagreeing with it.
Yeah. I always hated like completionist video on Skyrim. He had completely got rid of that video. And completionist is not a very liked person right now. But with completionist, he hated on doing Skyrim. Here's the problem with his videos: because he's making a video and he has to rush it out, he's ruining that like patience and time that you're meant to spend with a game to really get into it and such. And I completed Skyrim. I did a lot in frickin' Skyrim. There's still stuff I haven't seen before in Skyrim, even to this day. There's stuff I run into that I haven't seen before. It's kind of like that chance that
That's
people
cool.
have a very unlikely chance to run into that spaceship crash landing for them, unless you have the frickin' DLC Mothership Zeta, where there's a spaceship that has a very high chance to randomly land in your playthrough, which you'd have to make like 1,000,000 playthroughs just to finally see that damn thing. I'm not finding where this thing is. I'm guessing it's up the other way. I'm just kind of wandering around talking. Sorry. So there's the whale. This must be the eagle. Yeah. Eagles first. Then the whale. And then we had snake. I'm guessing fox is next because it's falling down, yeah. So fox and then snake. There we go. But yeah, there's a lot of good attention to detail. It's the one game with the art style I can finally look at and not have my eyes bleed.
Apologies. Gotta get out of your way.
The community, if you want to talk about stuff outside of Skyrim, the modding community is freaking awesome. There's some great freaking mods. I'm playing with some right now as we speak, and they
There's
freaking like
so many
impress the
sex
hell out
mods.
of me. You had to bring that up, didn't you? Of course there would be. What game doesn't sadly have that stuff?
Skyrim probably has the most ever.
Yeah. There's also different enemy types and stuff. This is the first game to have like the, oh my gosh. You know the funny thing, I was just thinking about the Oblivion remake when making this video. I was like, you know what, Oblivion's supposed to look more realistic, but isn't Skyrim trying to kind of do that a little bit too, and it still has like the fun to it and the personality. As long as they're able to retain a personality of some sort that feels Bethesda, I think that could work. But it would feel more towards Skyrim's personality than towards what Oblivion's personality is meant to be. Of Jake. But still, I think there's still fun to be had. It's just some people prefer that Oblivion personality. That Oblivion Jake. So sometimes jank can really help a game in this case. It's weird how like Bethesda games, when it comes to jank, they're the only ones that kind of get away with it because it actually adds something to their game that fills it with more personality. I see what's going on here. You're gonna jump as soon as I go for this chest, you asshole. You know the funny thing?
Nowadays people get roasted if they don't have perfect reflections on every single puddle.
Yeah. I also like the idea.
There's clipping. There's slight clipping. Ooh. You really expect us to pay us $70 for this game when there's slight clipping on a single model?
People nowadays are too picky and too there's too much anger in people's hearts nowadays. And just people just what?
Facts.
What? Yeah. Base.
Facts. I was trying to say
Nowadays,
facts,
people
but...
have to find something to complain about no matter what. And a lot of people, it seems like a lot of people have to do that. I definitely complain about stuff, but I'm not trying to do it to the extent that others do. Like, and I feel like the stuff I complain about is more worth it. Like Mass Effect Andromeda, freaking worth it.
And
Oh god damn it, they killed this lady. God damn it. Do I have to restart this entire dungeon? I hope not. I'm gonna do it anyways. I want her to live. Alright. Is she with us? Where is she? There she is. Stay with us, lady. Alright, at least the save point wasn't that bad. But also the dungeons do have that, like, shortcut back to the beginning or back to another area, kind of like Dark Souls. It's weird how there's a lot of similarities with Dark Souls with this, and this came out around the same time. They're both dark fantasies. Okay, that similarity is a little, you know. What are you doing? Why did you attack her? Come on! They're freaking attacking this lady. Okay, that's pissing me off. Why are they attacking this lady? I need her for the quest, damn it. They're freaking being bastards. There's so many quests in this game, by the way. Let me show you. And I haven't even found all the quests yet. So here's all the quests. There's so goddamn many. And I haven't even found all of them. There's still more in the world. I also haven't explored every location. There's more in the world. Also, to get back on track of that, like, as shallow as a puddle thing, I remember frickin' Salt Factory making a video on like how, but I feel like that was pre-planned. Like he pre-planned to hate on Skyrim. Like he had already had a planned agenda against Skyrim. For some reason, it felt like, and I felt like because of that, there's too much hatred in his heart, and it made his video feel unpleasant and not genuine. Like his others.
Yeah.
I did not like his Skyrim video. And I do not agree with that shallow as a puddle thing.
That's the thing, when you try to boil down something to its, like, basest concept, of course it sounds a lot more shallow.
Yeah. But Skyrim's got a lot of detail, and I find that when you... Skyrim was just at the right moment, too. Skyrim came out at just the right moment. It was in between, like, their hated games and their loved games. Skyrim came out at just the right moment. It was the peak of the mountain. It was the throat of the world of their games.
The pinnacle.
And, I fell for this trap this time. Whatever. I see why... I kind of see why they're getting mad at this lady. She has that lightning ability that pisses people off. Oh, there's just random gold on the ground. I also like that, like the Elder Scrolls game that actually, like, the guards will arrest you and stuff, or you'll have a bounty. Like, for some reason, Fallout 4 was like, nah, we have a prison, but we're not gonna use it. That is weird.
It's like they have a prison in, like, one place.
Them look suspicious to me.
I'm gonna save here just in case he gets killed in the process. That's another Death Lord. If you were gonna ask me, I'd rather be part. Okay, I knew they were gonna attack her. For sake. What is going on with this? It's the frickin' lightning ability, I swear. I just want to frickin'
But here's the pogger.
pissed off. Don't frickin' attack her this time. There we go. Anything else?
It's probably meaningless to you, but according to family legend, it links our
Also,
bloodline
when you
back
think
to
of the other
someone
games,
else.
think of a Morrowind. Morrowind's like such a beloved game of the franchise. Look at how the dialogue is done. If you look at I know that most of it is written out for you, but look at your dialogue and then look at the dialogue the character you're talking to is saying. Your dialogue consists of you saying a location or a person's name, that's it, and going through that list of locations and names, and then the other person is the one that actually talks and gives you a bunch of information. Sometimes the information does feel fetch questy, sometimes it doesn't. Frostbreak, especially when you played it, felt that there were a lot of fetch questy moments in even the main story and such. And honestly, Skyrim is probably at its best with that because first off, besides the fact that even
Honestly, fetch
Oblivion
quests
kind
are
of does
completely
that.
underrated.
Yeah, Oblivion eventually gets to that point where you do have some more dialogue than just one word, but even Oblivion kind of does the thing where it has one word once in a while. But in Skyrim, yes, you have a lot of questions as your dialogue. That's come to be expected. But at the same time, it's technically more than what frickin' something like Morrowind gave you. And besides the fact that you're given written out dialogue, it's not always question marks, but it is at the same time here and there. But you also have a lot of dialogue, probably the same amount of dialogue a NPC in the Morrowind would spout out. So it's not really that big a difference. Also, the Elder Scrolls games aren't known for having what am I thinking of? They're not known for having multiple endings and stuff and multiple choices. Skyrim does do that thing where there's more choices in the side quests than in the main quest, other than join Stormcloak and Imperial, or join the Blades, or don't join the Blades, stuff like that. But it's not really a series known for that. The most it does is Morrowind, where it's like you either straight up follow your path to become the Nerevarine, or you can like kill someone like Caius Cassidus and be like, well, the world's doomed, frick you. And you can continue to play the game like that. It's not a series, and people forget that it's not a series known for that. Another thing I found strange is Skyrim is that game like, okay, say I go up to Dirkethus here, since he's an NPC actually integrated into the game. He has something called I need you to do something. In Fallout 2, when they figured out how to have characters move out of the way of doorways and stuff, this is a feature that should have been in the other Fallout/Elder Scrolls. Hell, even Fallout 4 got rid of it. And this is essentially your move out of the doorway button. And a lot of people forget, even myself, forget that it's there. And it is a way of getting through. So they did integrate a lot of things that, like, even they forgot in their later games. Oh, that's right, I switch. I'm dumb. And then this door opens, there's a frickin'... Ah! He blew me across the frickin' room with his shout. Hopefully they don't attack the frickin' lady.
As soon as you're done with the stream, let's set up Skyrim together.
Okay. Sweet. I shouldn't be too long with this one. But yeah, I love their dungeons. I love their attention to detail. It's a game I feel like they're gonna have a hard time trying to live up to. No, 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 no. Oh god damn it! They're freaking attacking me again.
Wait.
I gotta save at a better spot. Let's kill this guy since he... Okay, how did that... I also find this game gives you a lot to kind of experiment and play around with. You got from magic, two-handed, one-handed, there's a variety of weapons and armor. You got frickin' the shouts. I always feel like, too, that Starfield is also missing that secret ingredient that Fallout and Skyrim has. Skyrim has the slow-mo, like the execution moves and stuff. Cinematic stuff. And then Fallout's got the that system. And I really feel like frickin' Starfield needed some sort of thing to give it some spice to make its frickin' its gameplay memorable. And since it didn't have much spice, it just kind of came off as a little bit more generic. Okay, they're fighting amongst themselves. God damn it. I'm gonna quick save right here so that I can press this switch. They're focused on each other. Okay, this guy's kicking my ass. Also, I think a lot of people play on the... A lot of people must play on some of the easier difficulties, like Adept and Apprentice, because they're always like, Skyrim's too easy. Bro, replaying Skyrim on just like the I'm on the normal difficulty, by the way, just the equivalent of the normal difficulty. This game's been kicking my ass. I don't know if it's because of the way I built my character or what. I don't think it is.
Yeah,
But goddamn. This game's been
because
kicking
you're
my
not a
ass.
stealth archer.
I mean, obviously, but stealth archers are fun. The bow and arrow combat is genuinely fun.
I watched that one video that you didn't have any interest in.
Oh, what was it?
About the stealth archer thing.
Oh, I can't remember that, but okay.
It's like, why the thumbnail was like, why are we like this? And like, the stealth archer was inevitable.
Yeah.
But it's actually like about how like all the different weapons, like axes are like the heaviest or the lightest of the whatever, and swords were axes are the middle, swords are the lightest, maces are the heaviest.
Yeah.
For like the melees, right? And there's drawbacks to magic, there's drawbacks to everything else, but stealth archer, there's no drawbacks.
Yeah.
And you get started on it because archery is the only way you can really actually level up stealth really early on.
Yeah. I also love companions. Okay, we got a frickin' dragon piece. That's wonderful. Oh my gosh, he's got frickin' explosive magic. Holy frick. This guy's kicking my ass as well. Thank goodness I can freeze time and space. Oh, by the way, you're not going to be able to freeze time and space when you go into your in your inventory and Skyrim together. So prepare for some Fallout 76. No, I'm just kidding. It's way better than Fallout 76 in my opinion. Frick that game. Frick it up its ass. I mean, what? Is there another puzzle here? Not sure. Okay, snake. I think there is another puzzle. Is it all snakes? Metal Gear. Sneaky snake. Snaky sneak.
My snake is sneaky.
And
Sneaky like a
it just cuts
everybody
the
keep it
snake, like,
solid.
teaching an actual snake how to be sneaky, and he just looks at the camera like, what? What did you think I was talking about? My dick? It just cuts off. But yeah, I think Skyrim is like a game they have such a hard time like trying to live up to. Oh, I found a word of power. By the way, who doesn't love flinging somebody off of a mountain with an unrelenting force shout? Also, can I say that, like Lord of the Rings, Skyrim, there's another series as well, I can't remember. But Skyrim is also that game, I don't know what it is about fantasies, but somehow I learn more about how to speak their languages or pronounce their words and stuff more than in real life, like learning Spanish or something. The most I learned of Spanish is frickin' uno, dos, tres. Like, mostly they're frickin' numbers. Mostly because the teacher I had was awful. I had a friend who was from Puerto Rico that was in that class with me, and he was like, this teacher's awful. They keep teaching the same goddamn words of Spanish over and over again. We want some other, like, words, please, over time. And I don't know what happened, but, like, eventually we just didn't have that class anymore. We didn't care. And we were moved on to another one. Sorry, my controller died there.
I cannot thank you enough for all of the help.
I don't think I ever went. I don't remember this quest. If I have done this, I don't remember it very well. Your thanks is enough. I think I'll be keeping this. Wait, what is the scroll? Can I see what it is? Oh. Can I see what the scroll is? At least? Oh, okay. There's also a lot of books in this game that help to expand on the lore. And of course the game has like the equivalent of the bathroom skeleton with like visual storytelling, kind of like Dark Souls. Oh my gosh, another comparison to Dark Souls. But yeah, there's a lot of things that Skyrim did right, from the art style to the attention to detail. This is the true Bethesda game that truly feels like there was a lot of love crafted to it. I know that they reuse a lot of the same voice actors for stuff. That is one thing I hear people get annoyed by. But I think they're good. There's some charm to them as well as Oblivion's. Like, I love the guards that sound like they're trying to be a Nordic like character, but they sound more Austrian, and in that turn, they kind of sound like they're doing an Arnold Schwarzenegger impression. I love those guys when I run into them. I just want to go. But yeah, I love the voice actors in this too. It may not have the strongest Daedric quests as well as guild quests, but I think because they let you stay with the characters that are known instead of going from one place to another, like Oblivion did with the Mages Guild and the Fighters Guild. I gotta save here as well, because I want to see what this is. But from going to one place to another, you don't get to let the characters sit with you and such, or get to know them quite as well.
Sometimes I cannot thank you enough for all of the help. I'm sorry, but I can't let that happen. Yeah? I cannot thank you enough.
Alright,
Here's a
here's
little
the
something
scroll.
for helping me out.
What'd she give me? Oh, I think I already have that though. Yay, we completed that quest. Kinda wish I knew what that scroll was about though. I mean, I can always go back to the save I made. Yeet. Hey, this is the snake room. Ah, sneaky snake. Sneaky sneak. I love the reward system of Skyrim. It's like, I'm not a big fan of looter shooters and stuff. The obvious, like, glowing loot and all that crap. And I don't mind some. Borderlands 2 is really good. I think one that's not a looter shooter, but definitely is a looter dungeon crawling game is frickin' Diablo. And I love some of the original Diablos, Diablo 1, 2 especially.
Good old
3 has its
Diablo.
problems, but I do have some good things here and there with 3. 4 frickin' pissed me off. Like, they made so many mistakes with that. I understand that people would even say that they prefer frickin' 4 over 3, but 3 was just way too greedy. And if something's just too greedy, I can't. And I understand that Skyrim does have the also the frickin' Creation Club stuff, but it is technically the one that's better with that, kind of, to an extent. It still kind of sells some mods to you, or whatever. But it's the better with them, because you can essentially buy almost all of the things they made, like Creation Club items, for just 20 bucks. Oh, hi, lady.
Hi. Oh, let me look. This is a very exciting moment for me.
That is quite poggable.
It's encrypted. It'll take a while to figure this out.
I didn't know there was more with her. Huh.
Sniff.
What? No. Shut up. You're not a frickin' Morrowind NPC.
Sniffer.
You know. I kinda hear characters sometimes do that in Skyrim as well, where they just once in a while sniff. It's like, excuse me, don't sniff me, please.
Just so that they're not completely silent without
I think
saying
that's
lines.
most. Well, they also hum to themselves, like Dirkethus hums little tunes
exactly.
once in a while. And there's lines of dialogue they'll have once in a while, too. There's some companions that are genuinely really bland and don't have much to them, and then there's other ones that seem like they don't have much to them, but definitely have a lot to them. Or at least enough to gain a character from what they're like or who they are. And then you have, also, this is like the only Skyrim. I find Skyrim is freaking beautiful. There's so much, like, the world feels so awesome. And it's also the best looking game at nighttime of any of the games. The other games look ugly at night. This has the Aurora freaking Borealis during the night, and there's like different colored
Aurora
night
Borealis.
and such. It may not realistically be dark the way it should be, but it's still really cool and beautiful. And like I always hate how people are like, oh, this game's got too much snow and stuff in it. People forget the areas that you not only start out in, but the other areas like the Rift and such are not like that at all. Oh, and of course, random encounters help. Oh god, these are the vampires disguised as Vigilance Estendar. I know who you are. Oh god, they're gonna make me a vampire. Also, this is where the vampires and werewolves were at their coolest, in my opinion. I thought they were the coolest in this game. We're gonna take their stuff because it's worth money. Also, like, I've come to, I originally didn't really like the economy system of Skyrim, but it's better than I thought. Like, I definitely, like, one of the reasons I'm not a big fan of frickin' Fallout is I have a hard time just trying to make some dough in that game. Some moolah to frickin' buy things and such. There's a good variety of enemies. The enemies actually make sense. I never found Oblivion's enemies made sense to the area they were put in. Oh, I see a dragon over there. But the enemies actually make sense in this universe. It's a blood dragon as well. I freaking hate blood dragons.
Imagine if the Oblivion remake takes out the Goblin Wars.
It just has a lot of typical, like, that's another thing that made Oblivion feel generic to me, was it has a lot of typical enemies, and then enemies that make no sense. They have, like, Loth the Spider Queen from
like,
Dungeons and Dragons as an enemy,
You can, incite wars between the Goblin tribes, though.
Yeah.
That's sick. What if they take that away?
Oh, that's true. That would suck.
Oh, Bethesda did that. We don't want to. We don't want to remake that. It's gonna take too much time
I
for
never
something that no
found
one will ever notice.
trolls. I never found the troll. While I like the design of the trolls, I never found they made sense in Oblivion, but they did make sense in Skyrim because, like, Nordic mythology, there's a lot of trolls in Nordic mythology.
Yeah.
It
Get
just
trolled.
doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense in Oblivion. And then Minotaurs, it's like, we have Greek mythology now? What is going on here? You got the typical goblins, you got the typical zombies. I like Draugr better. Draugr are more cool, and they actually have a lore purpose to them other than just being typical zombies. Typical slow, eat your brains zombies. It's just kind of boring. I've seen way too many zombie games, so I don't put your zombie game in my fantasy game, please. Even the rodents of unusual size, I prefer skeevers. Skeevers sound like what a pirate would call a frickin' rat. It's a much cooler name in my opinion, or a name that at least stands out to me.
You may say Skiva.
Skiva. Yeah, I love the enemy variety. This is the first game to have like the different types of enemies the more you level up too. Like you get elder dragons, ancient dragons, blood dragons. And then there's stuff like hulking Draugr, Death Lord Draugr, all that kind of crap. Let's fight a dragon. I think I'm coming to the end of a lot of the stuff I want to talk about. It's hard for Bethesda, like, I think after seeing some of their other games, because, like I said, Skyrim is right in the middle of when they started going crap with their games to when they were good with their games. It's right in the middle of Oblivion, New Vegas, and Fallout 3, right after those, but it's right before Fallout 4, Fallout 76, ESO, and all that, which ranged from mediocre to okay to bad. I do like Fallout 4. I have a lot of fun with it in the same way I do with Skyrim, but it doesn't have a lot of the same magic that Skyrim does. Literally speaking too. Let me see if I have. There's also some awesome rewards. Like if you look through the powers, like if you get some of the rewards from some of the quests, like I love that you can summon Lucy and LeChance and stuff. This is from the DLC, but you can summon Karstag, which is like one of the most difficult bosses in this game. And I love the Dragonborn DLC. It's one of my favorite DLCs out there. There's also very helpful, like these were from the Black Books. Also, if I had to add one more thing, I was talking about the guilds earlier, how if you have certain characters you stay with. I do think that the ones that work in Oblivion do that, which is the Dark Brotherhood and Thieves Guild, where, sorry, I'm kind of focused on trying to find this. Find frickin' Dragon Rend, there it is. Got him. Just got his tail. It ended off with a dragon fight, because that's what this fucking game's known for. Also, do you like the design of my character? I went with red and black on the design of my character, mostly. You know, the villain colors.
Hog.
Yeet. Because I like red and black in general. It's awesome together. There we go. Now, just like Dark Souls, let's suck out his soul. Yes, it did. Oh, my frickin' controller just frickin' disconnected. But, while the quest, the
Just
Daedra
like that
quest
one
and
scene
stuff...
in Evil Dead that's like, swallow your balls, swallow your balls.
No. You're fired. Oh, I think my controller's having that problem where it completely disconnects. Let me unplug this and plug it back in. There we go. But, there's pros and cons that I think even out frickin', Skyrim. And while Skyrim may not have the strongest, like, skill tree and, like, character build of the others, like how you truly roleplay, it still does have really strong role playing. And the Mages Guild actually has you, with its quest line, teach you to use magic on certain puzzles and stuff. You actually have to use magic instead of that one really stupid puzzle that even General Sam got pissed off at during his Mages Guild video, his Oblivion series. That was the only time that the game was like, you have to use magic here, or that it trained you in any kind of magic. Skyrim actually trains you to do it. You may not like the quest line of the Mages Guild, even though it still has really cool things. Like I said, the Augur of Dun Lane is something that has so much to unpack with it. That's just one thing that's really brief in the Mages Guild, and it has a lot to unpack to it. Okay, this is a dragon burial mound. Also, I think the villain is pretty good, Alduin. A lot of people forget that, like, every time you see a dragon, in that one scene where it shows Alduin freaking resurrecting a dragon, every time you see a dragon, you know it was him that did it, because he's resurrecting them. He's going out of his way to do that. It's kind of like Sauron in Lord of the Rings. You may not see Sauron a whole lot, but you feel his presence through how other people talk about him, or through his frickin' legions of orcs that do his bidding for him. You still see his evil throughout the world of Middle-earth, and how he affects the world around you, or around the characters. It's the same thing with Alduin. I think they do a good job with Alduin. I never cared about the villains of... Oh, they're fighting amongst each other. I never cared about the villains of Oblivion because they never truly stood out until, like, the very end of the game. And that storyline's way too short. I actually feel like Skyrim's has a little bit more length to it than most of their... Like, when I replayed Fallout 3 and Oblivion's storyline, I was like, wow, this feels freaking short as hell. And I don't know why people are like, the ending of Oblivion is really cool. He turns into a giant flaming dragon and then into stone. It's like, but you don't get to participate in that. You watch it happen. Yeah, it's cool, but it's like only a couple of seconds of cool, and then it's gone. You don't even get to participate in that. You at least participate in the ending Alduin, in not just one boss battle, which I feel straight up Irish forgot when he was making his video on freaking trying to talk trash about Skyrim. He has 2 boss battles, and they're really cool boss battles when you think about, like, they're mostly cool maybe on paper than they are in practice, but they're still cool. Like, first off, you're at the freaking throat of the world, the tallest mountain in Skyrim. You read an Elder Scroll, which, by the way, the Elder Scroll, these artifacts that are pretty much have been around forever. They're very mysterious artifacts of, like, probably the 9 divines. Who knows? And somebody can go blind freaking reading them. They're that powerful. It's kind of like it's like Lovecraft stuff. When people look at Cthulhu, they freaking go crazy, blind, have white hair and all that. It's kind of like that, but with a freaking piece of paper, a scroll. And your character uses that scroll at the throat of the world to go back in time, essentially, to learn a shout that mankind made to defeat the dragons, or at least help to defeat the dragons. That sounds freaking awesome on paper, and then you and Parthenax fight Alduin, the World Eater, the destroyer of the world, at the top of this freaking mountain. And then you can't stop him, just like your bros in the past, your Nord heroes from the past. He escapes you have to find out from another dragon that you capture. He escapes to Sovngarde, which is the Valhalla of Elder Scrolls Skyrim. And he frickin' is eating the souls of the people there in order to retain his power. You go there, you go to this dangerous dungeon that can only be reached with a dragon by riding him there. You frickin' run through all that craziness, get past the Dragon Priest, into the only portal to Sovngarde. where there's fog and everything. Alduin's using this fog to hide himself and to eat the souls of the dead there. And you can even meet characters that have died on your adventures there. Like, I remember when I was playing recently, I met I had Alfred killed, so he was there, as well as his broskies. And, he didn't seem too mad with you because you actually sent him somewhere he wanted to be. And then, like, you go up to past all of that to this beautiful location with an awesome looking sky, too, which is a swirling vortex of colors. And there's this freaking bridge that is a literal rib cage to Valhalla, and there's a giant guarding it, and you have to beat him in battle. Then when you beat him in battle, cross this ribcage bridge, get into the equivalent of Valhalla Sovngarde, talk to the heroes that you just saw, teleport Alduin forward in time. By the way, not many games fool around with time travel stuff, but I feel like Skyrim does a decent job of implementing it. And it's
Very
actually really
job.
cool. Yeah. It's simple, but it's like something you didn't expect of the Elders. You didn't expect the Elder Scrolls to really do most of the time. There is other time travel things, but like they're not quite as memorable in my opinion. I don't remember them quite as much. And then you three use a shout, clear skies, to blow away the fog that's meant to conceal Alduin, and when you finally get it concealed, the second battle with Alduin commences, and you and these three heroes of time, who are essentially demigods, fight together to beat frickin' Alduin, and he frickin' explodes.
Sorry, you said Hero of Time.
And when you're done there, you get teleported back to the High Hrothgar, I love that name, to the top of the throat of the world, where all the dragons are flying around and celebrating Alduin's defeat. Parthenax is like, hey, maybe they'll listen to my rulership. I'll be the next dictator. And you're like, Even though his intentions might be better, but he does mention that it is in his nature to probably be. It's kind of like weirdly beast stars, if I use it as an example. You know how they have the nature of their predator instincts and stuff. It's kind of the same thing he's saying with being a dragon. It's in his nature to rule and kind of be the evil dragon that he might end up being. But yeah, there's a lot of cool. Doesn't that stuff, like, it probably sounds cooler to read than experience, maybe, but it's freaking dope. I love it. It is the epic tale. I love Blackreach by what. Also, I don't get why people hate Blackreach. It reminds me of, like, if Avatar the movie at nighttime mixed with freaking Morrowind, because it's essentially like this dark giant cavern but with glowing big mushroom trees and stuff, and it looks really cool. You got the Falmir. The Falmir are already really interesting because they used to be the snow elves that have been blinded and turned into the golems who live underground. These like golem creatures. But yeah, there's cool lore, and once again, there's really cool lore and a lot of detail to frickin' Skyrim that I'm just impressed by. It is definitely the game that feels like the most love and the most detail fricking went into when making this game. I love stuff. I also love just the designs of creatures, like the giants and stuff. Like, the giants don't look like the typical giants you think of. They got like these little horns and these interesting little eyes and designs on them. Their proportions and such are very different from how you see typical giants in mythology and such, or how you depict them. So I love how they have all these different details out. There's the Falmor.
And they've got like shrines facing the moons.
Yeah. I think if there's one problem with Skyrim's story, it's the Delphine stuff. I do think Delphine's a memorable character. I wouldn't remember her name otherwise. But she is the part that does have some plot holes, because she's like, I wonder who's causing the dragons to return, even though she comes there and sees Alduin returning the dragons. And it's like, if there's one dumbass thing in Skyrim's story, it's her. She's the one falter. I don't mind the whole Thalmor thing. It does help to give more to the Thalmor as well as to push forward the rest of the story. But if there's one flaw in its story, it is Delphine and her, like, I wonder who done this? Who resurrect wagons? It's not like I just saw the Eater of the World do it right in front of me. I guess you could argue she didn't understand what was going on in that case, in that situation, but it was still silly. It's still pretty dumb of her. But yeah, also I think when people think of like generic castles, this is what they think of. But whatever. This isn't every place. Like frickin' Riften, Markarth. Markarth's a frickin' city that only belonged to the Forsworn originally. It's explored in ESO, but also is a Dwemer city, which means at one point it belonged to the dwarves too, even before them. But yeah, it's freaking crazy. I love the lore and detail of Skyrim. It's one of the prettier games. Once again, just like winter stuff, I know a lot of people complain, oh, there's too much, it's too much of a snowy looking game. But then you go to freaking stuff like the Rift. Like sometimes it'll be foggy, there's weather effects as well. You'll go to the Rift and you walk around there, and it's like each location is a different season, each like area. So, like, I think of fall when I think of, let's get it to be frickin' daytime. I think of fall when I see these golden forests of the Rift or whatever. And then, like, around Whiterun is kind of more summery, I guess, or whatever. I guess the area Markarth is in is more kind of spring, whatever you think of it. But yeah, I love the freaking look of the game, and I think like when it is gray like it is right now, as well as there's beautiful sunsets and there are great colors to the game too. It really works to the game's atmosphere and setting. You feel like you're truly in like forests and stuff, and you're exploring these. Also, it's the first game too where Todd Howard wasn't wrong about something he said. Maybe, I don't know what else he said, but I remember when he said, you see that thing? You can go there. You can climb that mountain. He's right. He was right for the first time. Of all the bullcrap he's said in the past, he was right about that. It's like goofy climbing. It's not something like Zelda Breath of the Wild's climbing, but it works. You can go there. You can goofy Skyrim it up a mountain pretty much all the way. Or find a route that helps you get up that mountain easier. But yeah, it truly is a game where you can almost explore every little part of it. It's kind of like, you see this little thing right here, this little, like, stupid thing? Like, I may not be able to jump over this, sometimes I can, if I, like, exploit it enough. But, like, there's a lot of these things in frickin', like, Fallout 3 especially, and even Fallout New Vegas and such, that is just, as well as even the big mountains, where you can obviously tell they put a lot of invisible walls around. It's just much more noticeable that they're trying to block you off from stuff. Where Skyrim truly lets you kind of like be free and explore most of the frickin' map, even if it's something you don't think you're meant to explore. Like, it makes sense that when you start getting to like past like the Fort Dawnguard here, and you try to go past all this like white area that you're seeing on the map, like it makes sense that you start like having the thing where it's like you can't go past this. That makes sense. But that's a long ways. You still have to like travel, and you still have a giant map to explore and so many dungeons and areas to explore, as well as cities. And I kind of hate that it's foggy here right now, because this area can look really cool. Let's see if I can get it to look better. Hopefully the fog goes away. It seems like this is just meant to be a foggy day. I also love the lighting. Like, look at the frickin' the god rays and the lighting through the trees and such. That's really cool. I don't know if that's in the vanilla Skyrim. I have to replay the vanilla Skyrim. Yeah, I love that too. I love that they put that detail at least in this. Oh,
I've been wandering alone for so long, I thought I'd never see another soul again.
the hell? Frightened woman? Calm down, tell me what
I was
happened.
kidnapped by these bandits weeks ago. They locked me up in the towers near Mistwatch. I managed to pick the lock and slip out while the guards slept, but now I'm completely lost. Can you help me, please?
There's a town nearby in that direction. Do you need help getting there?
Oh, thank you. But I should be fine now that you've shown me the way. But those bandits have to be stopped. They're at Mistwatch. Here, let me show you on your map. If you can stop them,
Mistwatch? Have I been to? Yay, I'd be a true hero. Wait, she said true hero. She's the one that's been writing the freaking messages.
True survivor.
There's a, by the way, there is a theory with freaking there's these notes that are sent to you to show you these words on the wall, and I know that what's his name? Camelworks made a detailed video investigating that. The note that's just said signed from a friend. It just says a friend. And he was thinking, oh, it's Hermaeus Mora because Hermaeus Mora wants to see your power grow. I noticed when reading it, it's the person writing it refers to you as a true hero. And would Hermaeus Mora think of you as a true hero or word it as a true hero? Maybe for manipulative reasons he would, but I don't know. That feels like a small slip up, if that is. So that's why it's made me guessing, like, and it's funny because I noticed that he sometimes does pay attention to the details of, like, how somebody says something, Camelworks, but this was the one time I felt like he kind of missed out on that kind of detective work where he needed to, you do need to realize how somebody words stuff, too. Because that is something when you're investigating something, you need to look into how they word stuff as well. Every little detail. Every little detail. It's not just like breaking it down to the common denominator of like, oh, it's got to be some omnipotent being, which I still think it is. But the true hero thing was the part that stuck out to me. The way he worded that sequence was interesting, whoever wrote it. So I don't know. They do know when you do a shout as well, which is interesting. If it's somebody who's meant to do a shout. There's also an interesting theory that it's the Dragonborn themselves sending it to themselves from the future. That's also a theory. Another interesting thing, I don't think it is, because he sees you, he doesn't even know you when you frickin' meet him for the first time and such, but I almost thought it was Mirak. But he doesn't even know you once again. So, I don't know who it could be, honestly. I think it's meant to be a mystery. Once again, I love the Elder Scrolls series for creating so many really cool mysteries and details of lore. It's probably the one series that can get away with being straightforward with where stuff goes canon-wise, but at the same time still retain a lot of those really cool mysteries. And I mean, Fallout does the same thing, but Fallout, especially earlier Fallout stuff, probably explains or does too much, and now the TV show of Fallout is going to do even more of that by saying which ending of Fallout New Vegas is canon. It just does a little too much more of that, and it makes me less interested in the universe as a whole compared to Elder Scrolls. Like all I have to say hands down that makes you frickin' like, I know there's Lovecraft stuff that's established in the lore of Fallout, but there is Lovecraft stuff also established in Elder Scrolls. So I just think they do it a little bit more mysteriously in the Fallout series. But in Skyrim, or Elder Scrolls in general, if I were to say the disappearance of the dwarves, you would be like, okay. Okay, Skyrim does. The Elder Scrolls series does have better lore, better mysteries and lore, because that is something that people have been wanting to know ages about. We're probably never going to get the answers. I hope we don't get the answers, because goddamn, I don't want them. Just like with Master Chief, I don't want to see his frickin' face. Thank you, television show. But I don't take you as canon, so there's some dumbass, like, other universe. Don't care, it's so stupid. There weren't alternate universes established in frickin' Halo, bro. That was not an established thing. It was much more straightforward than... It's trying to think that it's deeper than it actually is.
I hope next time you walk
It's
into me,
not.
you follow. Sure. Just walk into me.
I
don't have any feelings or character.
Get out of my way, please. I know I could just tell you to get out of my way, but I just want you to get out of my way. That's it. I'm gonna Fusro die, you assholes. The other way of getting people out of your way. There we go. Stay out of my way. Alright, what do we do here? Okay. Gotta be a way to get up there. Get up. There you go. See? Made it. Made it. Yeah. What the hell? Is that? Oh, it's gold ore. It's an ore, I mean... Okay. Cool. Alright. I guess that was it for that. There's not much else going on here. Interesting. Probably one of the shortest dungeons I've been in. Oh, wait a minute. There's two ways here. Hold on a second. Did I not see this? Oh, okay, that's why. Okay. Let's see if it says cleared on it, actually. If it doesn't say cleared, I'll be surprised. Oh, it doesn't say cleared. What? Interesting. What is this thing as well? Anyways, I think I'm going to stop here. What do you think of Skyrim, by the way? Do you think it is as deep as I say? Do you think it's as interesting? Do you agree with the stuff I talked about? I also wish that the Stricken would look more beautiful. Actually, since
It's certainly deeper than Starfield.
Yeah.
As people who kind of enjoy Starfield, it's certainly deeper than Starfield.
Yeah, Starfield, I think one of the biggest things they missed was that, like, because they were... Here we go. Here's the Golden Forest. Look, I love it. Yeah. This is what I've been looking for. But yeah, people say Skyrim doesn't have colors. Fuck you. Oh, I just saw a spider crawling over there. Frickin'... Like I said earlier in the video, Starfield was too focused on, like, other details. What Bethesda, like, they were trying to focus on, like, for example, the frickin', like, dialogue system. They were trying to get closer to what New Vegas does. It's not as good as New Vegas, but you can see they were trying to. And in trying to do stuff like that and the other things, like the shipbuilding and all that crap, they forgot their strengths, which is their dungeons, their frickin' lore, their enemies.
They got scoped out hard.
Yeah, they lost a lot of that charm that they were known for, and I think they needed that stuff.
Like, the gameplay loop is there.
Yeah.
It's not quite as deep as other ones by any means.
Yeah.
But, like, it would have been enough if the rest was there.
Yeah. It needed more life, too. I think moons make sense why they don't have the life that they do, but I do think other planets needed more, and there needed to be more enemy variety there, too. When they have a scary location in Starfield, it's not nearly as scary as their previous games, like Fallout 3 and such. But it's, like, pretty weak atmosphere-wise, too. Yeah, I don't hate Starfield. I actually felt like playing it again, weirdly enough. I wanted to come back to it. And it was at the same time, ironically, when you were trying it out.
Mm-hmm. I was checking out the performance and stuff.
Yeah, and I was like, you know, I feel like giving it another shot. I want to do more in it again. For some reason, I was like, I want to play more. So there are moments where I'm like, okay, I might want to come back to this. But not nearly as much as Skyrim. I've played Skyrim a lot. I've played Oblivion. I probably played Oblivion more as well. Morrowind, frickin' Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas. I also want to make a video on New Vegas because I feel like what makes New Vegas strong is because we're seeing like Avowed and oh, there goes my controller again. Avowed and Outer Worlds are pretty weak in my opinion. They have a lot of problems, a lot of the same problems I had with Outer Worlds, where the same ones Salt Factory had, and every time I returned to Outer Worlds to replay it and stuff, I kept finding things I didn't like about it, and it just got more and more freaking, like, annoying to me. So I just finally was like, no, I'm stopping before
screw
this
it.
game, yeah, before this game really just becomes a game I don't like anymore. So I just kind of left it at that, and didn't really return to it much. I do appreciate you can kill all sorts of NPCs and stuff. That is something that Bethesda does kind of mess with in their games. Is this Mistwatch? No, it is a different place. Okay.
No.
But yeah, I do think the essential NPC thing is kind of annoying. What the hell? Did they already see me? Why are they all on guard? But yeah,
Tutorial.
I think they... Also, Skyrim's tutorial is great too. I do like it. It teaches you a lot, as well as
It's pretty
Riverwood
good.
helps to teach you stuff. Like, the opening is iconic alone. The freaking, you're finally awake. That's become iconic. How do I get into this castle? Anybody that says this game isn't beautiful, they're freaking lying.
They're
Also,
weird.
I do think that, like, Up Is Not Jump brought out an interesting point about Skyrim, where he compared it to The Witcher 3, where Witcher 3 was going more for realism, but this is more for style.
Hmm.
It stands out a lot more, it feels more fantastical and unique. But he made a good point about that. Look how beautiful that is. It may not be the most realistic looking game, which it's not really meant to be. I guess to some extent it kind of is, but it's also meant to be stylistic. Like, look at characters like the elves and their designs and such. Like, they're definitely stylistic in their facial structure and design. Other things as well. Yeah. I think that's about it. If I had to add anything else, I wish that frickin' there was water combat. I also miss stuff like walking on water, which there is a pair of boots in the game that allow you to do that. And the spell to let you levitate, which I guess you could use console commands to do that. If you have PC, at least. To
Fair
do that
enough.
with. So, at least mods are on the console versions of Skyrim and such and Fallout 4, so that's a benefit to a lot of people. That is cool. But yeah, I love Skyrim. It is probably my favorite Bethesda game. I love Morrowind as well. I always go back and forth. Do I like Morrowind more? Do I like Skyrim more? I really love both for different reasons and similar reasons as well. But I think I mostly settle on Skyrim. Skyrim's like one of my top 5 favorite games of all time. I absolutely love this game, and it's always been a dream to play this game cooperatively, which is what Skyrim Together is there for, and I hope it works when me and Dave set that up.
It's totally gonna work.
Okay. It just works.
Mhm.
Isn't this a thumbnail slash wallpaper? I think that's the freaking meter replace. Golden Glow Estate, okay. Yeah, that's Golden Glow. Beautiful. They have such cool set pieces in Skyrim as well. Yeet. I was talking earlier, like, how difficult the game can get. I think it does have a good difficulty balance to it, as well as, of course, balance to that frickin' Oblivion, the level scaling thing or whatever. Yeah, it's definitely much better. If there's another thing, I think I get more sick of seeing Alien dungeons than I do Draugr dungeons. I at least don't mind the Draugr dungeons as much as frickin' the annoying, boring, same white stone frickin' dungeons of Alien dungeons or whatever. I mean, there's some interesting lore to their existence and stuff and why they're there, but I just get bored of them a lot quicker.
They're dungeons.
Look,
They're
I still love frickin' Oblivion. I just think it, in my personal opinion, at least, it is the weaker of the three. And like, once again, I can see the argument of either because they have their pros and cons that balance each other out to see like which one leans for you. There's also people who have a nostalgic value to different games. I technically did play Morrowind and Oblivion before I played Skyrim, but Skyrim is weirdly my nostalgia game, even though it probably shouldn't be, technically speaking.
Because it's goated.
It is a really good game. I think they made a game at just the perfect time that they have such a hard time living up to. I was even talking about how Bethesda was like concerned about where Elder Scrolls 6 was going. They even showed concern that it's like, oh, after Starfield's failure and stuff, are we going to be able to do this? I can't remember exactly like what they were saying, but it kind of sounded along the lines of that. Like they were worried about the project if it was going to be as good. And I feel like they made the game they might have too much of a hard time living up to, and that is Skyrim. It is where the budget went. It's where a lot of the love went. It truly was that game in the middle between the era of games that people love of Bethesda and the era of games that people hate of Bethesda. It was right in the middle. And I think it is more leaning towards the good. But yeah, it came out at just the perfect time. And even somehow beat out Dark Souls. Well, actually, that does make sense why Dark Souls was beat out. A lot of people were more frustrated and annoyed by that game than they were having fun with it. But nowadays, it's looked back at as like this masterpiece that we wish we came to know ahead of time, just like Demon Souls, that we didn't give it the love and respect that it deserved then. Anyways, that's about it. See ya. No, if you did enjoy this, find anything interesting, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Leave your comments below, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye, and hopefully we can do Skyrim together stuff. Yay!